am Kimberly Ryder with Kimberly Ryder Interiors, and we're at the HGTV Unofficial reunion, and I'm here with Christopher with House Tips.
And House Tipster and Design Talk Live is working with us with the event, and you might recognize her from Curb Appeal. How are you?
I'm doing great.
So what have you been up to? One thing I know about you that's evolved over time is you are a go-to for sustainability.
Absolutely.
And it's just such an important part of the environment and the changes, and even in product as we're at the show, the consciousness of it.
Yeah.
So talk more about that.
Well,
and
I think
you have two books too.
I do.
So
I have
she is a pro.
book, the Healthy Home Workbook and Organic Baby, and they're both books that talk about living sustainably, but also living with products that are healthier for us and healthier for the planet. And I think people really have connected with this idea that my home should be a sanctuary, should be a place where I feel good and where I'm not, harming the environment or doing harm to my baby by putting chemicals in the nursery. So I'm really passionate about that.
That's amazing. What are some projects you want to brag about that show that off?
Well, I worked with Green Day, which is a band that a few people may know, and I helped them source some sustainable products from all around the Bay Area. I also worked with the founders of Cliff Bar. They have a beautiful home in the Napa Valley that's
Nice.
Sustainable products, salvaged materials, vintage things. So really picking things that you care about that tell something about your history, as well as picking something from the earth that's meaningful and clean. So some fun projects.
Terrific. Well, and a lot of times people hear, "Ooh, it's kind of expensive," because
Right.
It was expensive.
It was. It's getting better for
and
sure.
It's getting better. So what are like 3 things people can think about and educate them this is a sustainable thing that's affordable?
One of my favorites is vintage. I mean, I absolutely feel like the beauty of vintage is that there's a history in the object that you can feel as well as make your own. Or maybe it's something from your own history, so showcasing that and then mixing it with things that are new to make it fresh. But I love when people find something and they say, "I've got this thing from my grandmother, I don't know what to do with it," and then we frame it properly or we display it properly, and that's really exciting for people.
Well, repurposing, I agree, because my mother wants to give me stuff and it's like, can I paint it? It'll feel more like me,
a little more modern,
so she has trouble letting that go, but then at the end of the day, I'm using it.
Yeah, so vintage is important. I think sustainable products that are clean from the earth, that's always a good thing to look for. And then value. I mean, I think here at High Point, one thing you're really seeing is that when you buy something that's well made, you'll hang on to it. You will keep it for longer. You won't be throwing it away. And I think people really do need to think about the idea that something was well made and that the value is there, and then they hang on to it.
Give us some insight. What's coming up with you? What's new?
I am doing a lot of work in the Napa Valley. I'm sure people know about the fires that happened, and so there's a lot of projects there where people are trying to take something that was, a tragedy and very difficult and turn it into beautiful homes that can become family places to stay. And we're really working with the community there and doing some new buildings, so it's really exciting.
Oh, that's terrific. Well, thanks. It was great to see you. Thanks for
Thank
making
you
the
too,
time.
Christopher.
Enjoy the rest
Appreciate
of the show.
Thank you.